How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Massive Beer Reviews. Back to get another review. A little bit of wild time. I don't know time. In the form of Trillium Brewing's Permutation number 9. Yeah, this beer. Interesting beer. For a couple different reasons. One, it's Trillium. Two, it's part of their kind of funky, kind of wild series. It's bourbon barrel aged. It's always nice. Add a little element to that stuff. And I haven't had that many barrel aged Trillium beers. But the big one is, this might not be this beer. So, this beer came out in the early 2017. Right around March, end of March, I believe. They released it, and then, over the next day or two, they realized, or throughout the day, let's put it that way, I think it was even the same day, they realized they accidentally bottled a different beer. So they had a bunch of these, which this beer is supposed to be, as it says in here, an amber wild ale aged in bourbon barrels. That's what it's supposed to be, but they ended up taking one of their raspberry soaks, one of their soak series, I believe it was the raspberry one, and ended up accidentally putting it in these bottles and sold it to people. As Trillium is awesome, much like other breweries like Kane and a couple other ones floating out there, they realized that they screwed up. They just refunded everybody their money, but they let the bottles still exist out there, and they said, hey man, the beer's fine if you got the fermentation, you're good to go, have at it. They're like, but we urge you not to refrigerate these. They're like, the raspberry soak will be fine, it'll be a couple months until it is fine, so we want you to room temp store it, and you'll be good. In a couple months, even that raspberry soak will be where it should be. So I had no idea. Actually, this wasn't given to me, or I didn't get this when it came out. It was given to me this weekend by George. You all know George, Master Troll Reviews. He's quite the fantastic feller, and he came back from a trip up north. Ended up picking us up from a friend up there, so it's kind of a pseudo mystery beer series here. But the second we open it, we're going to see it, because if it's not that rich red kind of raspberry color, we know we got a legit bottle going on. Plus, there's this weird little kind of thing underneath the label here, and I kind of want to pick the label after I open to see what's underneath there. But anyway, as far as what it says on this label, it says Permutation Series, number 9, Amber Wild Ale, aged in bourbon barrels, 11.2% alcohol by volume. That be that. Label-wise, that's cool. You know, soft gray, nice kind of rose gold kind of lettering and stuff like that on there. And for one of the rare occasions, I have uber proper glassware going on. So who would have thunk it? So let's do it. Let's crack this sucker open. See what she's got. Okay. So we're talking about an amber wild ale. So it's not the raspberry soak, so we know we're good on it actually being the Permutation number 9. Amber wild ale. What kind of beer style is that? It's just a wild ale. It's just saying wild ale, and they're telling you that it's kind of amber in color. But you're talking about taking a wild ale, which a lot of people might be like, okay, nice, it's going to be a big robust sour in a bourbon barrel. Might not be the case. You know what I mean? You're talking about wild ales, they can go a couple different directions. To me, when I hear wild ale, I usually think, okay, you're going to have a soft funkiness to it, nothing too overly acidic. Hopefully, you know what I mean? Just something that kind of flirts on the edges of sour. And combine that with a bourbon barrel, it should turn into something hopefully pretty interesting. As far as what we have in front of us, we have about 2 fingers that has a decently creamy top to it, rocky edges to it, kind of crumbled for a quick minute and is kind of sitting where it's at now. And what you're left with is a kind of soft iced tea looking color to it. Rich kind of caramels. I don't really see much carbonation, if anything, in there. Any soft kind of hazy murk going on in there. Yeah. She looks pretty. Not a ton of carbonation. But, talking about a barrel-aged beer, sure, wild ale. Usually they're a bit more vibrant. But yeah, she definitely looks pretty sexy, color-wise. That haze has got me, man. And a lot of people are like, oh man, haze is the best thing in the world when it comes to beer. Most people talking about that are actually talking about kind of IPAs, hop-forward beers. To me, hazy beers are where it's at when I talk about funky wild beers, or more like Belgian European style beers, and that's what this kind of looks like to me. So, Let's get a nose on her. There's a funkiness to it. There's certainly a funkiness to it, but it's not over the top. It's definitely more of like a funky wild beer as opposed to a funky sour beer, at least on the nose. What I'm actually getting from it is more kind of like English old ale barley wine vibes. Not necessarily like a big, robust, candied English style barley wine. More of that kind of Thomas Hardy, kind of J.W. Lee's kind of barley wine vibe from it. There's a soft, subtly tart sweetness to it. I mean, reminiscent of kind of like an apple kind of thing going on there. Not necessarily like a green apple, more kind of like, you know, somewhere between a red and a golden delicious kind of apple. But there's these caramel vibes floating around the whole thing. Maybe some vanilla. That certainly could be true. That could be even just like a wood, kind of bourbony wood oak thing. She smells beautiful. It smells definitely more barley wine than anything else. Like a tart, funky kind of barley wine. Just right up my freaking alley. So yeah, she smells absolutely fucking beautiful. So she looks the part of beer. She smells the part of beer. Who would have thunk it? Let's see what she tastes like though. Cheers. That's fucking delicious. That is a tasty beer. Good God. Oh. This is absolutely fucking fantastic. It's really super fun. When you actually, you know, you can get all those vibes in the nose. So when you go to take a sip, you kind of get a quick sniff. When you take that quick sniff, you kind of get ready for everything. Then you actually take the sip. Nothing. Nothing's really there. It's kind of like in a holding pattern. All you get is this soft, kind of wild, funky tartness around the edges, and it's it. There's nothing in there. It's like a vacuum. It's a void. Then when you actually go to swallow, that's when everything comes alive. You're getting hit with that kind of apple vibe. You're getting hit with caramel all over the place. You're getting hit with that kind of soft woodiness, a little bit of the vanilla I was talking about. You get that little bit of kind of red cherry bourbon that's coming off fresher than you expect, especially being that, you know, it's a bourbon barrel aged beer combined with it having some time on it. It's weird because it is kind of more barley wine than anything else. But you're taking that barley wine, and when you're adding that kind of wild, that funky yeast to it, it brings a kind of delicacy and a lightness to it. This drinks like a 6% beer. This is not twice that. You know, this is 11 and change. It drinks nothing even close to this. I could drink this and be like, oh, okay, this is, you know, nice kind of sour, wild beer. I shouldn't say sour, even though there's a little bit of acidity to it. You get none of that heat on there. And everything's just kind of where it should be. Is it balanced? Sure. In a way that, you know, kind of chaos can be balanced at some point. I'm not calling it chaotic beer, but that funkiness is distinct. That caramel is soft but distinct. That kind of barreling, that vanilla thing is they're all individual notes. They're rounded. But I don't think they're married together perfectly, but I don't think that's the point of the beer. I don't think that's what it wants to be or that it needs to be. It's just tasty where it needs to be, refined where it needs to be, aggressive where it needs to be, and it comes together and just makes sense as a whole. You know, it's kind of like, if you ever watch like old, there you go, I'm getting kind of nerdy. If you ever watch old like History Channel, like dog fights, from like, you know, the World War II, or whether it be like, you know, some of the older kind of like before jet kind of battle kind of footage kind of stuff, even with jets and stuff like that. The point is you can have this kind of battle, this kind of dance of aggressiveness, while at the same time it kind of looks like kind of, like ballet-like at the same time. So it's like from afar you get this kind of, beautiful kind of dance, but at the same time inside there's like turmoil and like chaos and things like that. And that's kind of how I feel about this beer. Am I getting too off on a tangent and too weird? I don't know. I don't care either. But yeah, super fun beer. So yeah, delicious, tasty, unique. Kind of like Trillium to a T, to be perfectly honest with you. So yeah, I dig it. Let's dive in. Let's cut this out and see what's underneath this label here too. Could do that while on camera. I used to save bottles all the time. I mean, you can see behind me all the bottles I save, and this might have been one I'd actually saved, but now that I'm kind of scoring into it, it's probably just like a barcode thing to where it can't get stolen from the brewery or something like that. But I know what it is right now. That's a price tag. Because Trillium used to do price tags on all their bottles. And they used to be these really kind of old school, like mom and pop grocery store, like fluorescent orange price tags. When all they used to do was 750s. And that's what that is. That's an old price tag. I'm going to pick at it and I'm going to see what it says underneath. But yeah. Let's see what we got here. I know this is a super interesting video right now, but you know what? You can shut it off now if you want to, because the beer portion of the show is over. I mean, I'm going to do my little recap that I always do, but you guys know what's up. So yeah, I can actually do that while I talk about this. I'm not going to be able to get this off without tearing it. So yeah, let's see. Oh, you know what? It's dates. Let's see, what does it say here? 02/03/17. So the bottle was bottled on February 3rd, right? Yeah, February 3rd, 2017. So there you go. I thought there was going to be some kind of weird, like, Charlie Bucket, like, Willy and Wonka chocolate factory thingy, Mababa golden ticket underneath there. That was going to give me Trillium for life. But, it's a fluorescent fucking date sticker. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about it. Is this one of the better wild beers that I've had as of late? Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt. It's hard to kind of classify those beers because they can fall in a bunch of different ways. If I would actually be like, is this one of the better barley wines that I've had? If I really came in this blind and I didn't know what kind of beer it was, at the same time, I would say yeah. That funkiness comes off in a super fun way. You don't see a lot of people doing these kind of malt forward, caramel forward, kind of bourbon barrel aged funky beers all that much. I can count like a couple of them on my fingers. Allagash, Dry Log, I think that's about it. I know other people do it, but as of late, that's all I've really had, and it's definitely up there with some of the best. Value availability, I don't know. It was probably $20 for a bottle, I'm assuming, maybe even a little bit more. Brewery only, absolutely, and just leave you with, if you like what you like this. If you like good beer, if you like English old ales / barley wines, if you like chaotic balance, and if you like date stickers underneath labels that make you think there's hidden treasure. Because what it is a good beer. It's a fun beer from a brewery that just makes good beers. So if you like tasty, delicious, malt-forward, funky beers, it's worth tracking down. Or sharing if somebody else has one. Or, I don't know, find it somewhere. There you go. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. If you didn't, anywhere in between, down there, words and stuff and things. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped. That's 4, right? All 4 of those places. If you want to check this dude out somewhere else, you just type in Massive Beers. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hope you're enjoying a Permutation number 9 right now. And hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.